Hey, how you doing? This is Jason, and what we're going to talk about today is anchors. Every boating forum that I've been involved with, invariably people ask, what is the best kind of anchor that I should be using? And it leads to a lot of questions. Everybody's got their 2 cents on the best anchor. And really for you, it depends on where you're boating. Are you in a river? Are you in the ocean? Are you in a lake? All those things come into play. Are you dealing with tides? Are you dealing with wind? So, a lot of different things, the type of bottom that you're anchoring on. The biggest thing that I have consistently seen is not the kind of anchor that you're using, but how much rope you're using and how much chain you're using. And let me illustrate that a little bit here. I was out on a lake today. I saw it at least a dozen times. People with a typical Danforth anchor, and that's typically a loop of metal that has two big flukes on it. And you tie your rope here or your chain, and this fluke will go to either side depending on which way it lands. And the idea is that it's going to bite into the ground. Okay? So that's all well and good. But if you have your boat here, and there's your propeller, there's your boat, or a poor representation. So what's happening is people are using rope, tie that rope to the front of the boat. They have a Danforth style anchor, which is a good anchor. It has been around forever. The problem is they're using it wrong. So if you have a rope and it goes straight from that Danforth anchor to the front of the boat, then what's happening is it's not really biting into the bottom. And so what happens is every time this boat gets a little bit of wave action, a little bit of wind that causes it to rise and fall, that direct connection is going to make this anchor continue to scoot forward. And that's what you're experiencing when you do it this way. So all the force in this case is really being directed up because it's pulling that anchor up every single time a wave hits. The right way to do it, and if you're using chain like you should, is we're going to do basically the same drawing, a really bad representation of a boat. There's my engine. Here's the bottom. And if I use a Danforth anchor, and I'm using chain this time, then what's going to happen is my rope is really going to come down like this. You're going to have several feet of chain laying on the bottom. And then here's that Danforth anchor, and it allows the spike to dig into the ground this time. So this is all going to be chain here, and then the rope starts to come up. And so what happens is every time the boat lifts and falls, this is what lifts and falls, your anchor chain right here. And so when the wind comes and the wind is pushing your boat back, you still have this spot in the line where the anchor keeps it low. And so your force is actually directed straight back right here, which allows that Danforth to dig into the ground and hold like it's supposed to. So this can really be any kind of anchor. And any anchor is going to be made better by putting chain in front of it, because it allows that anchor to lay flat on the bottom and dig in every single time that boat rises and falls with waves, or as the wind pushes it, it's going to give it that lateral force versus that up and down action that you get when you have a straight line or a rope going straight from your anchor to your boat. So that's the benefit of chain, is it gives you the anchor is laid in a correct direction so that it will bite into the bottom. Once again, this could be a box anchor, which technically they say box anchors you don't have to have chain. Chain is a good idea with any anchor. It could be a claw anchor, could be a fortress. Any of those things are going to do better because of the chain. The other thing to consider is how much scope you have out of a road. and that's recommended anywhere from about 8 to 1 to 3 to 1. So if this is our water, you're in 10 feet of water here. You really want about 70 feet of rope out to get everything to lay properly on the bottom and for that anchor to dig in.